Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. Thanks for spending time with us. I'm Roger Susanin.
I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. We want to say hello to meteorologist Scott Gagliardi. Before we get to all that breaking news this morning, we'll get a check on your first alert forecast, see how this day and the weekend is shaping up. Hey, good morning, Scott.
Good morning. How's it going?
Fantastic. It's Friday.
Better than yesterday, right, with the weather.
Yeah, you walked outside. I didn't hear the wind chimes this morning when I walked outside. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you live near a lot of wind chimes. That's nice.
Really?
Bucolic area.
Something to greet me with. The past 3 days, it was greeted
They've been
by
going
these wind
crazy,
chimes.
I'm sure.
They really were, yeah. This morning, there's still a breeze out there. Don't get me wrong, in some towns and cities. Notice in New Haven, it's a pretty shot there. We have sunrise coming in about the next 15 minutes. That breeze there out of the north-northwest at 13. It's 31 degrees already, though. It's doing better than yesterday. Mystic, notice the flag still flapping around in the wind a little bit. Temperature's cold even towards the shoreline. But notice the breeze out of the north and west, anywhere from 10 to, in the Litchfield Hills, still a bit on the gustier side, 15 to near 20. And gusting at this hour, 20 to 30 still, but they'll relax throughout the day. We'll notice that 20 to maybe 25, and then by tonight and tomorrow morning, wind speeds virtually calm. Temperatures outside, teens to low 20s. Even a few low 30s right along the shoreline. New Haven, you're the exception, though, 31 degrees, but it's feeling like 21 with the wind gusts. And notice even towards the north, some single digits as you're stepping outside this morning. First alert live radar scanning the state dry. That will change, though, by this time tomorrow. We're zooming out. We're noticing towards the west some clouds on the increase. These will eventually bring some snow showers. I'll have the latest on timing, how much we're expecting, as well as those first alert weather days for next week. All that coming up in just a few minutes. Good morning, Kate.
Hey, good morning, Scott. Good morning, everyone. 7:02 here on the Wax. If you're just joining us this morning, we do appreciate that. Camera moving around a little bit here from DOT. This is a first alert for you here in Hartford, 84 eastbound, heading in towards the capital city this morning. We have a crash that's taken place, so that left-hand lane is obviously blocked. We've got traffic moving through in the center and the right-hand lanes, but unfortunately, it is moving a little bit slower than average, so expect some delays as you're heading into Hartford this morning. Rest of the state, though, looking very good. Live look here, 84 east and westbound in Waterbury by the Mixmaster. Live look in Meriden along 691 east and westbound, nice and quiet. That's where we typically see a lot of that daytime construction work pick up early. And then Middletown along Route 9, things are still moving as you're approaching the light there. So that's some good news. As I mentioned, the rest of the state is nice and quiet with the exception of that first alert in Hartford. Here are those delays, though. 84 eastbound heading into Hartford, almost a 50-minute ride. So again, give yourself a little bit of extra time, but down through Fairfield County still, even moving along very well, so just enjoy that early morning Friday commute. I'm Caitlin Francis with your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
We're on top of some breaking news right now this morning. First responders reporting to a fire in Avon on Huckleberry Road.
Yeah, this issue also caused a road to be shut down in that area that could impact your morning commute if you live locally or drive through that area. So let's get right out to your reporter at the scene, Olivia Schuler. Olivia, what can you tell us right now?
Well, Roger and Caitlin, I have a big update for you, and that's that Huckleberry Hill Road has reopened at this point, and the scene here has completely cleared. Firefighters taking away the cones that were blocking off the road. Now, this fire was caused by a wood shed. That was what was on fire, and then that transpired into a slight brush fire. But luckily, firefighters were able to get that fire out pretty quickly, and then their fire trucks were having a slightly hard time getting off of the road because there was a sheet of ice. But we did see some crews as well putting down some salt so that they could make that road better for fire trucks to get off of. So the road was shut down for a better part of this morning, but the good news is during this morning commute, the road has reopened, and this is Huckleberry Hill Road. There's no cars on the road right now, but they are passable at this time, so anyone that is driving in this area should have no issues. Once again, this was a wood shed that was on fire. It then transpired into a slight brush fire, but all of that is now out and the road is reopened. Your reporter in Avon, Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Olivia, thank you for that update. Right now, we continue to track that breaking news this morning in California. Sadly, we now know that at least 10 people have been killed in those 5 wildfires that are still raging in and around Los Angeles.
The Palisades fire is only about 6% contained right now, and the deadly Eaton fire is 0% contained.
Amy Kiley is your reporter on the scene in Los Angeles with the very latest on the battle to save lives and protect properties.
The concern is that we get a new fire and we can have more disastrous fires.
The death toll is rising as wildfires surround Los Angeles. Officials warn the actual number of fatalities will remain unclear until investigators can safely enter fire-ravaged neighborhoods. The Kenneth Fire is the 5th to strike the county during the crisis. Officials say the Palisades and Eaton fires have destroyed at least 10,000 structures. The Palisades blaze is the most destructive in county history, despite better weather yesterday.
This lull is helping us focus some resources on getting containment around the fire. It's given us opportunity to deal with that, but the scope and scale is so immense.
The county sheriff says about 180,000 people were under evacuation orders as of yesterday, with even more facing warnings. Those urge residents to prepare in case they have to leave quickly. Many who flee will find destruction when they return.
I was trying to video some houses just to send off to neighbors because, like me, for the past 48 hours, I've been like, is it standing? Is it there? Did I make it?
President Joe Biden says the federal government will pay for all disaster response costs for about 6 months.
It's going to pay for things like debris and hazard material removal, temporary shelters, first responders' salaries, and all necessary measures to protect life and property.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
As the fires continue to burn there, many of you here in Connecticut want to know how you can help those in California.
Channel 3's Matt McFarland is your reporter at the American Red Cross in Farmington with those important details.
Hundreds of Red Cross workers and volunteers are on the ground in Southern California providing food and shelter for those who've lost everything. And, donating to the Disaster Relief Fund is another way you can help as well. And locally, another Connecticut-based organization is playing a role in the relief efforts, too. The massive and fast-moving wildfires in Los Angeles might be thousands of miles away, but help from Connecticut is on the way. Stanford-based AmeriCares tells Eyewitness News they're supporting survivors in Southern California right now. The relief organization, which responds to disasters all over the world, gets on the ground as soon as possible, delivering aid like medicine and equipment to health clinics in impacted areas. In addition, they're also supporting first responders who, while battling the fire, are also coping with their own losses.
We try to get out as quickly as we can while ensuring that we're not also contributing to the chaos of the post-disaster situation. We work with our partners on the ground to make sure that we are sending them what they need when they need it. We are prepared right now to send medicines, medical supplies, items like hygiene kits, N95 masks, to help protect the evacuees and people who may be waiting for the order to hear whether or not they need to leave.
If you want to help, we've got links to both AmeriCares and the American Red Cross on the WFSB app. Your reporter in Farmington, Matt McFarland, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
This morning, a man is now facing multiple criminal charges after a years-long murder investigation in Derby. 29-year-old Ramir Bush of Ansonia was arrested in connection to a deadly shooting that happened back in 2017. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder charges. Investigators say he was with the man who shot and killed 21-year-old Jaywan Benavidez. He'll be sentenced in March.
Well, happening today, President-elect Donald Trump is expected to be sentenced in connection to his New York hush money case.
The Supreme Court confirming Trump can be sentenced after a 5-4 ruling. Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the Supreme Court's 3 liberals in that ruling.
President-elect Trump's attorney wanted a delay while he appeals the verdict. Also today, the Supreme Court expected to hear opening arguments on the overturning of a law that could ban TikTok. That law will start on January 19th, and it would require TikTok to cut ties with its Chinese parent company ByteDance or be taken out of app stores in the U.S.
And today in Hartford, a big update for you. Temporary housing for folks impacted by a big apartment fire over the summer will end. People who lived at the Concord Hills apartment complex have been out of their homes since August. The city says it's already shelled out more than $750,000 for housing that the landlord will eventually have to pay back. They also say those victims have now had more than 4 months to find somewhere else to live. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Roger. As we get a check of your first alert forecast, the time right now 7:10. It's still a bit breezy out there. It's chilly as well, but we've dealt with worse, and temperatures will be much more mild today than they have been, reaching those upper 30s, maybe even near 40 along the shoreline. Right now, a live look outside in Old Saybrook. You notice the first glimpses of that sun actually coming up. We have about 5 minutes until sunrise way off in the distance there. A beautiful shot, a bit of a breeze. You can see those ripples on the water there. Up through Hartford, capital city, it's 26 with a breeze out of the north-northwest at 8. But notice the cloudless skies out there this morning. Temperatures 20 in Salisbury, 25 in Chester, 26 in Groton, and 24 degrees in Norwich. Our wind speeds today, they'll be in that 25 to about 35 mile per hour range, but they quickly calm down to 5 to 15 by tonight and tomorrow morning. We're looking at calm winds out there, but maybe a bit of a breeze later on in the afternoon. Not too bad. In their futurecast, though, look at this. Some light snow. It will be very light, but we will see some snow tomorrow morning. Looks to come to an end around, say, noon the latest. And then our feels-like trend this weekend is much more tolerable, but next week, another big dip Tuesday into Wednesday. Dangerously cold weather expected. We have a first alert weather day issued already for next Wednesday and Thursday. I'll have the latest on this as well as the timing of the snow tomorrow. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.